Okay, thank you. Welcome to the June 26, 2025 meeting of the Business Affairs and License Committee. My name is Anton Malmer and I'm chair of the committee. Tonight we are joined by District Manager, I don't see him.
He's online.
Jesus Perez and Community Coordinator Brian Lafferty. This meeting is called to order at 6:35 p.m. As a reminder, New York State law requires all committee members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public who are attending virtually, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you can raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. There's time following the committee's discussion. We will field questions from the public. We need a volunteer. Justin Goldberg has volunteered to do the minutes tonight. Thank you, Justin.
It's a celebration.
We will take attendance by roll
That's all.
call. Brian Lafferty will conduct the roll call.
Thanks, Anton. When I call your name, please indicate that you're present. I'll announce if there's a quorum. Paige Judge.
Present.
Thank you. John Keller.
Present.
Thank you. Anton Malmer.
Present.
Thank you. And Sullivan.
Present.
Thank you. Sarah Whittington is not joining us this evening. Michael Anwar.
Present.
Thank you. And Justin Gold.
Present.
Thank you. With 6 of 7 present, we have it there.
Okay. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and is reflected on the screen before you. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The minutes from the May 29, 2025 meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there is no objection, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the minutes, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the minutes of the May 29, 2025 meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB6 website. Okay, some ground rules. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, committee members who are here in person. If you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and I will identify you so you can speak. Committee members unable to attend in person, if you have a question about committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. All committee members, it is extremely important that only one person speak at a time so that members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said by each committee member. The chat function for committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like in an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. Okay, starting tonight's agenda. Number 1, one-day alcohol event permit for wine and beer license for CEC Stuyvesant Cove Inc. doing business at Solar One at 800 FDR Drive, Service Road East.
Yes, thank you. So I assume that people on the committee are familiar with Solar One, but if not, we are the nonprofit environmental education organization that manages Stuyvesant Cove Park. As probably everyone is aware, we are finally getting ready to open our new environmental education center.
Yay!
Yes, thank you. It's been a long time coming and we're very excited that the day is almost here. So these beer and wine permits that we are asking for permission to apply for tonight will be for the ribbon cutting on September 9th, which will be followed by a community event where beer and wine will also be served, as well as a private event on October 4th for a former board member.
Okay.
But if anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Just a question, isn't there an event taking place tonight at Stuyvesant Cove?
There's not. There was one last night. The Stuyvesant
yes?
Cove Park Association had one of their summer concerts.
Okay.
The next one is Monday.
But there was no alcohol.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no alcohol at this.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Kevin posted.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't have any issues. Do I hear a motion of no objection?
No objection.
Okay, hearing a motion of no objection and seconding it. Is there any objection to the motion? Seeing no objection, the motion is passed. And are we going to take a look at the resolution?
Sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't.
because this is the first one we've had this year.
yeah.
Let me know if you can see that. So,
But I don't think we're gonna have any stipulations or anything. We have no stipulations, right?
no.
They're good neighbors.
Thank you. We appreciate your vote of confidence very much.
Thank you.
So, I just pulled some information from the questionnaire. Put it into this template. Do that, I can read it out, but now.
You want to talk a little louder?
Oh, sure, yeah, so, as I said, I pulled, some details from. The questionnaire that was submitted, and put it into a draft, resolution here. If you'd like, I can. Determine it, if you think that's not necessary, I don't have to.
I don't think it's necessary, it's just,
Okay.
we trust you.
We trust you and it's pretty pro forma.
Yeah. The only thing I would ask, and I see also Michael Ann has her hand raised, is if any community members have any comments.
Yeah, do you want me to, yeah, you're good
You
for me to speak?
Yes, Michael Ann?
Yeah, just Dina, I just wanted to inquire, about your application process. I'm just curious as to whether what's the difference between taking out just for per event as opposed to like just having a liquor license for the whole year for any such events that you'd want to have?
So because we're going to be operating the Environmental Education Center also as an event space, and some of those events will have alcohol and some of them will not.
Yeah.
We are currently interviewing caterers to create a preferred list for clients to choose from. And when catered events are happening, we'll be using their transferable liquor license. So I think
I got you.
rather than go through the expense and difficulty of trying to get a liquor license,
Yeah.
For those events that are not involving a caterer, like the ones that are coming up in September and early October, we'll come and ask for the temporary permits. Then after that, I need to go to EDC to get the landlord authorization. And then at that point, I think I'm good to go. I'll just send them all to the liquor authority.
Thank you.
No problem.
And I think there's a limit to how many one days
Yes.
you
I think
can
so,
do,
too.
so it's not like somebody does it every weekend, so.
No, definitely not. And I mean, in the past, before COVID, I don't remember. I know that there are some situations where you can only apply for 4 per year. And then there are other situations where nonprofits are allowed to apply for more. I'm not sure exactly what our situation is. But if I feel like there are a bunch of events coming up where I need to come back, then I'll just do them all,
Yeah.
under one permit, essentially, or 2 permits, whatever the
Like that.
maximum. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Good
No
luck.
problem. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay. So no objection, unanimous approval. Item 2, dining out New York City application for Sidewalk Cafe, 4-year license for Rosa Mexicano, Second Avenue LLC, doing business as Rosa Mexicano at 251 East 52nd Street. I don't have any comments or questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
there were some complaints, they've been resolved.
Brian, I believe they were solved.
So for Rosa Mexicano,
Great restaurant.
yeah, there
Yeah.
were some concerns, images, so.
What
They
were-
were, first about the sidewalk shed, in 2024 of August
Okay.
2024.
Yeah.
And DOT said, obviously that any, now that they're transitioning to the permanent program, they have to bring their setup into compliance. But we haven't received any recent complaints.
Okay. The application on the DLT form is pretty straightforward. The roadway, the sidewalk pedestrian path appears to be in order. Do I hear a resolution of approval?
Resolution, or I move to approve this motion.
DOT
Make a motion
application.
to.
I make
I
a
move to
motion
make
to
a motion to
approve.
approve
Yeah.
the,
Their
their application,
application for sidewalk seating.
yeah, for sidewalk seating.
Second,
Do I hear any objections?
wait, Paige, was that you?
Yeah, I said 3 times, I second it.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
We heard it once.
Sorry.
You.
3 seconds.
Okay,
So, does the committee have any, comments about pedestrian flow, existing curb use? Or physical footprint and dimensions? No.
No, they seem to resolve a lot.
okay, the chair hears no objection. This resolution is adopted by unanimous consent and will be considered by the full board on September 10th, 2025. Item 2. Item 3, a dining out New York City application for Sidewalk Cafe for your license for Meals Point Corporation doing business as Saparavi Georgian Eatery and Wine Bar at 245 East 14th Street. My only question is that, is there a representative for Saparavi here?
Yes. Ms. Cox, which we can from you. Tina, if you put on mute, please.
I can't hear anyone.
We can hear, we can hear you.
Thanks, Ann. Good, good. I'm glad you heard that. Everybody was muted or something.
The only comment I have is that their schematic indicates the wrong sidewalk width, but they certainly have more than 8 feet required under the DOT sidewalk clearance. It's 8 feet because this is a neighborhood corridor, so I don't have any issues other than that.
looking at the pictures.
Okay.
No, it looks good.
Okay, do I hear a motion to recommend approval?
Yes, I motion to recommend approval.
Second?
Second,
All right. Motion to recommend approval of this application was moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Hearing no objections, this is passed by unanimous consent. And we have the standard boilerplate resolution. Okay.
and actually Georgian food seems to be having a moment. There's Georgian food seems to be having a moment.
Yeah, there's a nice restaurant on Second Avenue.
Yeah.
About
49, 48, and
Yeah.
49. Delicious.
What's it called?
Okay.
Ugavi, something like that.
Right.
And, I just want to make sure there is no members of the public have any comments. If you do, please raise your hand. Okay.
Okay. Item 4, dining out New York City application for Sidewalk Cafe for your license for the Longford Lads LLC doing business as the Laurels at 231 Second Avenue.
Yeah.
Just a question, Brian, were they here last month for
Yeah.
an alteration?
No, not for an alteration. They had submitted to DOT for the sidewalk cafe. But we only received schematics for the 14th Street side.
We
not
didn't
for-
receive it for the
Not for the Second
Second
Avenue
Avenue side.
side. So
Okay.
now we have both.
Okay,
So we invited them back, and I see they just emailed. Saying they didn't get the link, so if you could give me a second.
Because
I'll resend it to them.
I should wait till they get here, right, to say anything.
I'm sorry, no,
I should wait till they get here to start expressing.
there's nothing for, that I found, to object to in terms of their application. So
I had a couple of issues.
you have some questions?
I did,
Okay,
but I feel like, and Michael Ann, maybe, do you have questions too?
Well, I was looking at the picture. I was just wondering about the other side. We're seeing both sides?
we're only talking about the Second Avenue side.
Well,
Okay.
And I am here, guys. Sorry, I think I was on mute.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
we can hear you. Yeah, so
Yeah.
now we have both sides to consider.
Great, thank you. Ann, you had a question?
I have a couple of questions. The first one is I noticed the FSCP expired more than a year ago.
No, so yeah, so I mean, we had that issue last, so that's a mistake on the certificate they sent out to me. The FSEP, it's actually expiring now in June of this year. They messed up in their when they certified it. I think it was May of. Let me see. I think it was or was it June of last.
2024.
Yeah, and then the end date.
That's what's on the application that we
And then the
received.
end date was also 2024. So I think they actually, so I've been on trying to get a hold of them.
But I mean, that still means it expired a month ago, because like,
Well,
or
it's
is it a
expiring this.
2-year, how long is an FSCP good for?
I'm not sure if it's, I think
You know,
I'm
it
not sure
might
it's a
be
year or
2
2
years.
years. It's
I'm not
expiring
sure.
this month. And I am trying to get a hold of somebody in the health department. I've already been on 311. I don't know if you guys have ever had the pleasure of trying to navigate the nyc.gov website.
Yes, I'm sure we all have.
Yeah, well, it's a nightmare. So I spoke to somebody, she redirected me to the health department, their phone number itself. I've been on call with them at least 6-7 times for 20-30 minutes at a time, cannot get to speak to anybody. So I believe it's a simple renewal. It looks like on their website you can do it there. I just keep getting error messages. And as I said, I'm just trying to get to speak to somebody. I think it's just a simple renewal, but
I mean, it's odd that it's like, you're saying it should expire at the end of this month, like that's 13 months, which is not ordinary.
And what he's saying is that they made a mistake, that they had the beginning date and the end date at the same time.
Yes, I
Correct.
understand. I don't know why it would go from May 31st to June 30th.
Well,
2024.
then
It should be 2025 on the certificate, because the one on the wall I have here, it's 2020, it says the 2024. So they didn't even, it's just a typo on the certificate itself, which I never even noticed until now, to be honest with you, this issue.
Okay, so speaking of like typos and potential confusions, 14th Street, I don't know, we're talking about two different things here, 14th Street and Second Avenue. 14th Street is a global corridor, not a neighborhood.
So two things. 14th Street is designated a small cafe zone between Second Avenue and Irving
We talked
Place.
about this.
Yeah, and so today I know like it was a bit confusing. It looks like I have two applications in. So we were doing 14th Street the last time. It was a bit of a backstory basically. When I was applying, I think I told you guys this the last time. When I was applying, I just didn't know if I was going to be able to afford to do Second Avenue. So they told me, just get in any application right now. And if you decide in the future you want to do both sides, because I'm on a corner, you can submit the second one and we will merge them. And unfortunately, by the time of the meeting last month, they had not merged them. They'd only sent the first application. Presumably you've now got the second application. I hope it's now merged. I'm not sure what you're in receipt of. And essentially it would be one application. It's basically, it's supposed to be one application basically.
Yeah, so we have both.
So could you pull up, yeah, we do have both, and I was trying to make the numbers add up on this, like, I'm just trying to understand how you get to like, when you get into the Second Avenue, like, that's what we're looking at now, right, is the Second Avenue. How do
Yeah.
you get into that space physically? Cause like, there's like a weird, like, do you come into it through the 14th Street side?
Yeah, you can access it here on 14th Street. Yeah, it's all level. There's no steps or anything.
No, I'm not asking about like accessibility. I'm talking about like physically, if you're like walking in, there's no entrance on the Second Avenue side, correct? Like, you enter
To the outdoor area.
for
No.
the outdoor seating, which is what we're discussing,
Yeah.
where you enter the Second Avenue seating location. So say you're going to the one on like what, I don't know what that is, like the northeast corner.
Yeah.
How do you physically walk there? Like, do you enter on 14th Street and
Yeah.
you walk through the
Yeah,
seating?
you can see
Yeah,
the
you-
entrance there on 14th Street. You can see
Correct.
how it's
Yeah,
built.
it's just a little weird, usually separate,
No,
right? Like,
it's
usually.
just the way that that's how you get in from the 14th Street side.
It's just because and honestly, part of the reason I can't really read, but some of those numbers, the number, like the distance, when you're adding up, like the number of inches and feet don't add up. Like, if you look on the left-hand side and you add, it's like, on the right-hand side, it's like, I can't read it from here, but 24. When you look on the left, you add it up. I think they're all good, but the math just doesn't work.
Maybe
And like,
someone doesn't know how to add.
I'm
I'm sorry, Michaeline, are you saying I don't know how to add?
No, I said maybe someone did not add it
Yes.
correctly.
Yes, and you know what? When I first looked at this and I saw there was an expiration of an FSEP a year ago, and then that the 14th Street is a global corridor, not a neighborhood, it got my little spidey sense checking, like, what else might be wrong with this? And so
Okay,
then I looked at these numbers and they did not add up.
but they do add up.
So,
They do add up. I'm a little confused as to which numbers
okay,
don't.
one
So,
is,
One's 12, 3 and 8, that's
I
12.
just-
yeah, so it's 8 as far as the mailboxes, but there's another 4 feet then.
I don't.
Okay. I see
There's
what you're
another-
saying. It's 8 feet to the mailboxes, and then there's.
no, I'm
another 4
talking
feet.
about the vertical lines. One of them, like, they come out like 6 inches different.
Where?
Can you?
Where? Where do you
So
mean, Anne?
pissy about this, but like, you know, if I'm not here to look at details, what am I here for, right?
No, it's fine.
Okay,
Somebody's fine.
this is 24 3 inches, right? And this is
Yeah.
18.2 plus 8.3. That right? Like those are
Let's see.
are those not going into the same space? 18.2
Where?
plus 8.3, 26.5, that's 24.3, like it's not, it's.
Yeah, but hang, but you're missing the, there is a section.
20.3, and that's 26.3, like it's, like the numbers don't really.
I've gone over this 50 times with, I can promise you, if you're on site here, the numbers absolutely almost to the inch are perfect. I can't know how many times I've measured this thing. I think you might be, so the 24.3, that distance I have, say, it's on the north or on your right hand side as you're looking at this particular diagram, that there is a section there with those kind of dashed lines. So that's private. That's belonging to, it's just my drawing's not great, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not
that-
including the dashed lines there at all, like that's.
No,
I'm
I'm
not-
not too worried about 6 inches or a foot.
Yeah, I don't see what's not adding up though. I'm not really following which exactly,
I mean,
which
as
ones.
long as the measurements are compliant.
Yeah,
or good,
I've already had a DOT inspector here. I've already had an inspection, and
Yeah.
he gave me the all clear, so like a few weeks ago. He said it's like a preliminary sort of go around, but he measured all these and said they were fine. That was about a month ago, maybe 5 weeks.
Okay, just to clarify over here, there's only one ingress into the Second Avenue side of the restaurant sidewalk seating, is that true?
Yeah, into the outdoor area. There's one, yeah.
Ingress and egress,
Yeah,
one place.
yeah, it's on the corner there. Like, I mean, if you, it's a very small. Like, I mean, yeah. So it's there where the entrance to the main bar is. You come in and you just right. It's literally, what is it, like 4 or 5 feet, and then you're in this Second Avenue side. Like I said, there's no steps. There's nothing. It's all wheelchair accessible.
Yeah, I think I see the issue. I think the arrow on the left side is pointing to another spot that the arrow on the right side is, so that would explain the 2-foot difference. I mean, but I think Ann's point is, and I agree with this, that if we're gonna fill these out, we should be careful about them, that's all. But, because no one's arguing about a license over 6 inches, but if I look at that, I do see, you know, that on the right, it adds up to 24.3. And on the left, the arrow goes to a different spot than the arrow on the right. I think that's where the confusion is, and it looks like could be a 2-foot difference. I mean, I'm just letting out the, like, I mean, it just looks
Yeah.
like, you know.
You're sorry, I'm just seeing your cursor now. So you're talking about the 18.3 plus the 8. But that would make sense because that 18.3 comes into the corner of the actual building itself, where the 24.3 does not. It goes to that's a metal rail there. So there is a
But
few
again,
feet.
there's concern that you listed the 14th Street as a global corridor when it is not. So
But
it's,
it is.
but it's a neighborhood. I understand, it's, I mean,
On the application, there is no, on the application we
but
submit.
that's the kind of thing you can put in the notes. Like, I'm just
Okay,
saying,
I was just trying to do it, but I mean, the application,
Yeah,
they give us options.
I understand.
I-
The application is not as good as it could be.
Okay, any comments from members of the public? Any motion to approve?
Solution to, of no objection. Is that the correct word?
No, motion to
Recommend.
approve,
Approved.
I'll second it.
second. Okay, motion recommending approval of this application was moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Seeing no objection, this is unanimously passed, and we'll use the standard boilerplate resolution. All right, item number 5, dining out next to the application for Sidewalk Cafe. 4-year license for Belcantata Restaurant Incorporation doing business as the Naked Pig at 922 Third Avenue. Okay. Okay, do I hear any, is representative here?
See Mr. Hall has this hand raised, so it is.
Do I hear any comments from members of the community? Comments from members of the committee?
Yeah.
And
I have
Hi,
a
hello.
question. Hi, could you pull up the application? Like, specifically the diagram? I was trying to figure this out, is like, are we just talking about a couple of two tops?
Yes.
Okay, and are one of them over a cellar door?
Yes.
Okay, because most of the forms we see has have a question saying like, if this is over a cellar door, and the form you have filled out does not seem to have that question.
Okay, well, we do have the certification for it.
Okay, cool.
Don't-
That's the concern.
yes,
So.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, and the other thing on this form, I noticed that you did not note, on the lighting and electrical connections, you did not note that they are compliant, like it was like a box not checked, but I
Okay, that might have
assume
just been a mistake on our
Yeah.
end. Yeah,
that would be, like, you just, like, that one
Yeah,
got
no, yeah.
double clicked and clicked off again, right?
yes. Yeah, I just don't think we clicked it by accident, so we can fix that for you.
That's how things happen. All right, cool.
I missed that one.
That's why there's more of us looking than one.
Okay.
That's why we have Ann.
Thanks, Michael Ann.
We're filling it in right now for you, don't
Yeah.
worry.
That is a compliment. I'll tell you.
Okay, do I hear a motion of approval?
Motion to approve the application for, sidewalk?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sidewalk
But
cafe.
can we just have with the stipulation, about,
Stipulate away.
I'm sorry?
Is it stipulate away?
That the cellar door.
The cellar
has
door
been
conforms
certified.
and the
Yeah.
electrical connections are compliant.
You can do that.
Cool. Because you're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, of course.
You'll just be one of the many people along that stretch.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So the applicant, agreed to the following modification, the representative confirmed that the electrical, components or
I think it's, the
equipment
language is electrical connections.
connection
It's
are
part of that.
compliant with regulations. And that there is a cellar door certification.
Yep,
That's correct.
perfect.
So this will be recommending approval with modification.
Okay. Do we hear any objections? It's approved by unanimous consent. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, item number 6. Dining out New York City application for Sidewalk Cafe, 4-year license for 127 East Restaurant Court. Doing business as Snafu at 127 East 47th Street. Do I hear any comments from members of the community? Members of the committee?
I got one.
Okay, I noted on the application, you didn't check the box that says outdoor dining on private property, because I think you have two tops on private property. Is that correct?
We do, we
Is there-
have, yes, hi. We have 2 steps down and we have a small table there. And then we have 1 table on the sidewalk.
But that's my question as well. It just was a box not checked.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed it. I will, correct it.
It just goes to show you read these applications. Okay,
I wish all applicants would read the applications as carefully as we do. Like, not to be snobby, but
I think I marked it in the, like I marked private property. I guess I didn't realize.
you did.
Yeah.
That's what alerted us to the
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Of course, we look at many more of these.
Oh,
than you-
partially. Okay, I see.
okay. Do I hear a motion recommending approval of this application?
Yes, I
Oh,
motion to recommend approval.
And do I hear a second? Second. Okay. Are there any objections? Hearing no objections, resolution adopted by unanimous consent, be considered by the full board at its next meeting. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving along, item number 7. Dining out New York City application for Sidewalk Cafe for your license for Tafat Incorporated, doing business as Deux Amis at 356 East 51st Street. Okay, is there a representative?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Good.
Okay, my only question was, I know in the past you've had. Well, you can see it on the picture there, you have tables at the curb, I presume you're not doing that anymore.
That was,
No.
this picture is from last year.
Okay, so you're only gonna be under the awning, and I believe that, I believe there's a section in the application that talks to that, I presume you are in compliance with the awning regulation? On the application, there's a section about awning, and you have an awning over your
Oh,
outdoor sign, dining.
I did not get that.
Well,
Like that
sure.
comes from the,
Yeah,
Yes.
they do have an awning over it.
Are you, I assume you are in compliance with the rules regarding that? Because there's a section on the application
So
that
it's-
talks
and
to
it's-
that,
not checked.
not checked.
Well, I think these boxes are.
Yeah. Cause the awning is different than the umbrellas.
Yeah, there is an awning section,
But it looks like they're checked off.
I can't see.
Norman.
Let me zoom in.
Fine, okay,
So under.
Yeah, awnings attached to
Yeah,
the building.
they're marked. these boxes are filled in.
Okay, so they're all applies, okay. Uh, Those are the only questions I have.
I
Ann?
have something which is like the reverse of what I usually say. Well, first of all, I love your restaurant, is wonderful. Mussels, like my favorite place to go for mussels. But I noticed you have it marked as I think a neighborhood corridor,
Regional.
regional. Oh, okay, good, because
It's a neighborhood corridor.
it's a neighborhood corridor. You actually, that gives you 2 feet more than you've actually taken. If it's a regional corridor,
It's,
or if it's a neighborhood corridor,
it's 8 feet clearance.
8 feet clearance. If it's a regional,
You
which
have
is
to-
what you have marked, you have 10 feet. So if you go by the regional, you could actually add an extra 2 feet.
I don't get it.
I know, it's like so obscure, but
But the law is that on certain streets, and they're defined freeways, you could either have an 8 foot clearance for pedestrians, 10 foot clearance for pedestrians, or 12 foot clearance. Okay? In this case, you put, was it regional?
yeah, I think you put
Regional, which gave only, which gave,
so you chose something
Well,
that only gave you 8 feet. But the way the mapping is, you actually have 10 feet. Like,
between the curb and where you said.
yeah,
Yeah,
so,
because was some papers, what we get from email is like, it's have to have like 10.
yeah, but you don't, you only need 8 feet.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, according to the map I looked at.
Yeah, same thing, C3.
Right,
Yeah.
C3, yeah. So if you wanted those 2 extra feet, I'm just saying.
You might be able to do the 2 top end.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Yes.
It's that in front of their thing is the bikes, the city bikes. The whole curve is all city bikes
Yeah,
Is that on the curb or on the roadway?
on the roadway, but it's still.
No,
There's
no, but
way,
the roadway doesn't affect, like,
if you go out the 10 feet. That wouldn't be a good idea.
what I'm saying is they don't need 10 feet according to. Like this is a neighborhood corridor, so they only need 8 feet.
Doubt that it would be, we always complain there's not enough sidewalk. Now,
I'm just saying, if we're following the law and telling people other places they need to back off. Here's a situation where they don't have to.
I'm just
So-
saying,
Do you understand what we're saying?
Yeah,
Okay. Just a thought.
by the way, would you please identify yourself for the, you are, your name is?
Janusz Gür. Janusz Gür,
Janusz, and how do you spell your last name?
my last name K-O-O.
Cool, okay, thank you.
And you're a representative of that.
Do I hear a motion of approval?
So
I,
moved. Oh, is that you, Paige?
yes, it is. I don't know what's wrong with the sound, but I'm not the only one that's having trouble with the sound.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. A motion recommending approval of this application was moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Seeing no objection, the resolution adopted by unanimous consent will be considered by the full board at its next meeting. All right, thank you. By the way, I'm eating there too. Sorry, good food. Okay. You're good. Thank you.
That's all.
Yep.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay, dining out New York City application for Sidewalk Cafe for your license for Han Sushi Incorporated doing business as Han Sushi at 346 First Avenue. Okay, is there a representative here?
Thanks for coming. Hi,
Yes, we're here.
we are here.
Thank you. Okay, I have no, are there any comments from members of the community?
Can I make a comment? They're very good neighbors.
Wait. Members of the community, not the committee. Okay, none from the community. Any comments from members of the committee?
Yes, they're very good neighbors. We used to have all our meetings there, and it's very good to the Stuyvesant community.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Okay, which kind of meeting? Is this Tudor City meetings?
Club. I didn't want to bring up politics.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve this application?
I would.
I move to approve the application for, is it Sidewalk Cafe? or-
Sidewalk Cafe.
For Sidewalk Cafe.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then.
Second,
Second.
thank you. A motion recommending approval of this application was moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Seeing none, the resolution is adopted by unanimous consent and will be considered by the next full board meeting. Thank you. Good luck with your sidewalk seating.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Number 9, dining out New York City application for Sidewalk Cafe for your license for Midtown Hospitality LLC doing business as Crave Fish Bar at 945 Second Avenue. Down the block from the Naked Pig.
I mean, aren't all pigs naked? Here over there?
Unless they were in a little, you know.
Is your representative here? Thank you.
If I wore a little like, scarf that was totally naked, I think people would call that naked. I was still gonna.
Depends what's hanging out there.
Okay, do I hear any comments from members of the
Interesting to see
community?
how that shows up on YouTube.
Oh, did you want to ask if Brian was here?
Community.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, no community.
Comments from members of the committee?
Yeah, I just have one that there's a gap that we have seen in other places. If you pull up the application, there are no furnishings checked. And so that always makes me think, what, or like we're just eating street food here?
You mean like it's not showing chairs and tables?
I always pay attention. No, but when you get to the place where it's furnishings, nothing is checked. And that means like presumably you're gonna have some lightweight movable tables and chairs.
As per the regulations.
Well, as
Yeah.
per, like how people eat unless you're eating street food.
Yes, we let our guests sit down at tables and eat. We hire an expediter to do this. It sounds like the box was not checked off.
Yeah.
But this is pretty much the same seating plan we've had for the last 13 years. Of what we're allowed to have out there. So, yeah, exactly that.
Okay.
Okay, do you still have the awning?
No, the only thing we have is a retractable awning that's been in place, that's affixed to the front of the building.
Okay, because I think when I went through your application, we didn't fill out the part talking about that awning.
No.
Sorry, I'm not sure. Was that a question?
Yeah,
If you could repeat it again.
okay, when you fill out the application, you have an awning and there's a section that talks to it. I didn't see that it was filled out.
It looks like maybe they did not fill out maybe this entire section here then, because we've had a retractable awning outside the restaurant for years. I'm not sure if that was ever something that was
we had to file or stipulate on the?
The application only asks about it and asks for certain stipulations, whether they were fulfilled or not. And to complete the application, that should have been filled out.
I think you should get a discount from your expediter.
Yeah, especially I gave them like 5 different applications. So, but I wish it doesn't work like that. And they do a great job. So I really like working with Bookman. But yeah, I could easily, get this filled out if this is like a condition that I check off the correct boxes. We definitely have that awning. It's been in the same place. It works. So yeah,
I know it's been there for years, I know.
Yes.
So I think we can do the same thing that we did previously and say stipulating that furnishings and awnings comply.
Comply with the DOT regulations. Okay.
Yeah, I ate there last week. So delicious. Thank you very much.
Love your restaurant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're coming
I
up
have-
13 years and we love the neighborhood and it's been very good to us and
Fabulous restaurant,
Thank you.
Brian.
And I care about eating seafood sustainably, so I really appreciate that.
Okay, do I hear a motion recommending approval of this application with the stipulations that
Yes, I move a motion to recommend approval.
I second.
with the stipulations,
With the stipulation.
awning and sidewalk furniture compliance? Okay, motion recommending approval of this application with stipulations is moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Hearing no objections, the resolution is adopted by unanimous consent, will be considered by the full board at its next meeting. Thank you very much.
thank you very much. I'm going back to work now upstairs. Have a great night.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Okay, great. Push bar. Okay, item number, moving along fast here.
Yeah.
Dining out New York City application for Roadway Cafe, 4-year license for 143 Cafe Inc. Doing his business as Toscana at 49. Toscana 49 at 143 East 49th Street. Now, this is a roadway cafe application, not a sidewalk cafe application. Do I hear any comments from members of the community? Members of the committee?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I think there is a sidewalk. Is there a representative here?
Yes.
I was wondering, there's a sidewalk cafe application pending? Cause there's still scaffolding there, right? Like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, they're waiting for the scaffolding to come down. You know how the city is with the scaffolding,
I
so.
do indeed, yeah. So,
But
so
I
that's
do
just
not
kind of
believe we are,
yeah.
from my paperwork, I don't see that we are doing a sidewalk cafe. I see we're
Okay.
only doing a roadway.
Okay,
Okay. And it will be compliant to new DOT
Yeah.
regulations and won't look like that very permanent.
And like I said, the scaffolding does affect, even if they wanted to do a sidewalk, the scaffolding's there, it doesn't help.
but you're talking about the roadway.
Running road.
Yeah, so yeah, we're only the roadway.
And the roadway cafe, I think Anton is asking, will be compliant with the new regulations,
Right.
Yes, of course.
which in other words, it's not what's in the picture.
No, not what's in the picture at all.
Got it, thank you.
From a
Okay.
couple of years ago. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have any,
It's actually nice.
seemed
The
okay.
green.
Do I hear a motion of approval?
Motion of approval.
Seconded.
Okay. Motion recommending approval of this application was moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Seeing no objections, the resolution adopted by unanimous consent will be considered by the full board at its next meeting. Thank you very much. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Look forward to going and eating there. Okay. Item number 11. Dining at New York City application for Sidewalk Cafe, 4-year license for Copine 891 Inc., doing business as Copinet at 891 First Avenue. Is there a representative here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you. Are there any comments from members of the community? Any comments from members of the committee?
Yes, they're a very good restaurant. It was originally Copan, French Connection was. Now this one is Copanetti's, but it's a really good restaurant. It's one of the few in the neighborhood. A lot of the old ones left. We've had the two, like Verdu Me and this one are probably, my opinion, the best in this part of the neighborhood.
Thank you. Nice to hear that.
Okay, I assume we're only looking at seating on the First Avenue and 50th Street side. They compliant, because I know at one time during the pandemic, you had sidewalk seating at the curb.
Yeah, no longer.
No longer.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any. Yes,
Yeah.
Ann.
No, there was a question raised by a member of the community about the height of the awnings is that still an issue? They say that, if you walk down the street, you're gonna hit your face on the awning.
Yeah,
Of the umbrella?
and the
The umbrella,
pictures
the
being,
umbrella.
and the umbrellas are not listed in the application.
So is this just an old picture?
That's the question.
Is this just an old picture, Ms. Baddick?
This is August last year. Yeah, there should be umbrellas listed. We have them in the summertime.
But I'm tall, so I'm 6'4", so I appreciate the concern. The person says that if you're 6 feet or over, you're gonna hit your face on those umbrellas if you walk down the street. I'm not saying, I've never walked there and hit my face there, but I just wanna be assured
Yeah,
that that's
because-
not happening.
They totally, they extend well into the sidewalk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
issue of someone hitting their head in the.
their face.
How tall is it?
Yeah. No, I mean with
Well, it's been raised by.
standing
a
outside and
member of the-
watching people pass by.
I mean, it's been raised by a member of the community.
The regulations say they should not extend into public space.
Okay,
Yes.
does anybody, I'm just gonna ask this general question, is there any regulations regarding
That's a good question.
temporary umbrella heights?
No, it does say if you go to the application, I think.
Okay.
Let's take a look at it.
What's the question that you had?
The question is whether those umbrellas are gonna hit your
Yeah,
face.
What was your question though?
The
Are there
question
regulations
what's the regulation regarding umbrella heights?
in New York City?
no, I think if you go down one
Go down.
bar. Yeah, with down one more screen, like where it has umbrellas, and I think it says like,
I think it's
7
8 feet, to be
Yeah.
honest, but minimum height. Yeah, it's for sure 7.
Okay.
Here you go. At least 7 feet above ground.
yeah,
Okay, so these are
No
these
higher than
7
10
feet?
Yeah, I most certainly.
I'm not convinced.
Okay, I mean, but
And
that might mean 7, we're not trying to be difficult here.
No.
It could mean the top of the umbrella is 7 feet, but the part that is down where you would hit your face on it might be less than 7
And
feet.
it kind of shouldn't, whatever, I don't know exactly what the regulations are, but it shouldn't really be over the public space. The idea is, I think, that they're covering the table. And I also really like this restaurant. My mom and I go there for lunch all the time, so.
Oh, you're saying that like the intent of the umbrellas is not to be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
supposed to be
it's-
shading
Yeah,
the
it goes
table.
out past
See those white,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, how much does it go out? That's what I can't tell. So like,
goes out enough with.
well,
it
go.
kind of feels like it's in the public space, which
Yeah, totally.
which, I mean, the shade is nice, but it's like not,
Yeah, I think we're talking about this here, right?
yeah, I see what you're
Well, but
saying.
even like the white ones in the north.
Well, it's all pedestrian clearance.
I think that's the next restaurant.
Oh, right,
Oh, really?
right.
Then I'm really.
Yeah. There were,
And that, those umbrellas are lower. Let's,
I think there was another, wasn't there another picture from the constituent?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So these were the,
I have a question.
Are we looking at the white umbrellas or the dark umbrellas?
well, they have both, they have light, but
So that we are talking about there.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is a
Oh,
long,
yeah,
that's,
there it is.
that white
I have a
umbrella
question.
hasn't been in use in well over a year. The one that was low just now. The past
Good.
picture.
I mean, I'm inclined to, oh, and Michael Ann has her hand up, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank
Michael in, yes?
Yeah. So how many feet are there from where the stanchion is, or the, the petition to the curb? Do you have enough room to move that out a little bit so that you wouldn't be overhanging where, the divider is?
Okay, I don't know, say the question again. This is
So-
really
Oh,
old.
there.
That's ancient. This picture is ancient.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, but so do you have any more room to move out a little bit with the divider?
Move the divider. Need to maintain the 8 feet clearance, so we can't push it out
And do it
further,
at-
to my knowledge.
I mean, I swear to God, there's other people that have it closer to the side, the curb, but anyway. I'm just saying, like, if you could pull it out a little bit more, then that would be where people would have, warning that.
You're saying pull the umbrella out more?
No, there's.
You're saying pull the perimeter out? I'd love to do that more.
So I think the
I
perimeter,
think we should. put a
Give me an
stick
inch and I'll take a.
Yeah,
That the umbrellas shall not exceed the width of the sidewalk seating.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, that just
Because
makes
this
sense.
picture is very clear that that umbrella is intruding into the pedestrian space.
This is at least 2 years. Do you have a date on this picture?
No, that's an old picture. She's
Okay.
already told us
okay,
that, but
so then it shouldn't be a
Let's manage
problem
that.
to,
Let's put the
like-
stipulation.
I think what we're trying to get to here, because we love your restaurant, is that just, you gotta make some, adjustment on those umbrellas, and maybe even if they're tucked in a little bit more, they'll come down, I don't know, or like you can push them a little against the wall a little bit more and have that backside, going
Well,
down.
I think if you look at the DOT recommended spacing, the umbrellas are always within the footprint
right,
of the
Well, they have to be
seating.
public clearance, and pedestrian safety.
I know, that's a problem.
It's about, like, the regulations exist for, public safety and pedestrian safety.
yeah.
Yes.
Public safety, clearance.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve this stipulation, this application?
I move to approve it with stipulation regarding the umbrellas not exceeding the space of the sidewalk seating.
Okay,
No,
do I hear a second?
Yeah, second.
Yes.
Okay, do I hear any objections? Hearing no objections, the resolution is adopted with stipulations by unanimous consent and will be considered by the next full board
and
in
it says
September.
encapsulate, so whereas the applicant agreed to the following modification, the umbrellas will be entirely within the sidewalk cafe setup and not impede on the pedestrian walkway.
brilliant.
Yes, and I enjoy your restaurant
Yeah,
as
we all
well.
love your restaurant, so.
Yeah.
this is
I
not
know,
about
but
us.
if you want a umbrella to not fall over and be flimsy, I don't know if a tiny umbrella exists,
Well, that-
it's gonna flail,
Well, guys,
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Good luck in your business.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you soon, actually. Okay. Item number 12. Aha,
Oh, yeah.
new cannabis application, retail dispensary license for HF Dispensary LLC doing business as to be determined at 998-1000 First Avenue. Is there a representative available?
Yes, I'm available.
Okay, so you're taking over what was formerly the old Smoke Star shop, which was an illegal cannabis shop.
That's correct. And
Which was
before that, it
closed.
was the frame shop.
Right. Oh, yeah. We still have a sign there that you can still do framing by going someplace else. It's good for that former owner. Okay, could you give us a little of your background?
Sure, I've been in business for about 35 years in the commercial real estate investment business. Additionally, I'm an adjunct professor at NYU, and I'm on the advisory board of George Washington University. I also serve on the board of two not-for-profits, one for traumatic brain injury and the other for people with developmental disabilities.
Okay, do I hear any comments from members of the community? No? Do I hear any comments from members of this committee?
Just to be really clear that you are a totally separate entity from the illegal shop. Just
Totally
that-
separate entity. Don't even know who those people are.
Fine. Okay, we just want to get that on there.
Okay, now, just, you indicated 998 -1000 First Avenue. I thought 1000 First Avenue is the Verizon shop.
No, it's on the other side of the Verizon shop.
So
I don't know.
which is which? The
99
Verizon is 998?
No, 998. No, 998 is where the frame shop was.
The smoke shop.
It's a smoke
Smoke
shop, and 1000 is where the pharmacy is now.
Oh,
So you're taking over that space too?
The pharmacy, we have the leases written for both spaces. The pharmacy has given notice to the landlord that they're not renewing.
Oh, no.
Oh,
really?
too bad.
Because that was, and actually, I mean, that's really interesting. So, man.
That's how it is.
So, because one of the things, I have to say, I was, like, we've seen a fair number of leases executed and not, and we've never seen one that had this kind of number of redactions. We've never seen one with any redactions. And that was a little bit of a red flag for me. And so then I looked at it more carefully to see what it was that was kind of bothering me, like what were the specific redactions that I would like that information about. And I was troubled by the opacity around the start time of the lease and also the current tenant of 1000 First Avenue, who, as far as I could tell from this, might also have a lease that permits renewal. Just as a little background, we had a problem with the cannabis dispensary coming in and essentially being responsible for kicking out a neighborhood establishment. And really don't want to be part of that again. And I also was I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, but I was a little bit surprised that in your package was a license, because I thought a license was not issued until they had come before the community board.
Yeah, so all right, I'll work backwards, try to address all your issues. The license that was issued was issued for another location in Long Island City on Borden Avenue. This is an application for an alternate location to transfer the license from Long Island City to this location in New York City. We became aware of the location and thought it would be better for business. We initially approached the landlord for the former frame store, which now I'm going to go to your second issue, and had worked out economic terms to lease that space. They then approached us and said that would we be interested in a larger store and take
Who is they?
the landlord, 400 East 55th Street Associates LLC. And they asked us if we would be interested in taking a larger store. And I believe I provided the name of the business person, the vice president of 400 East 55th Street there. So you could speak to them if you want. They told me that the lease for the pharmacy was expiring and that the tenant had rejected an offer to renew the lease. And but I'm telling you what.
No, I'm giving
we
you
were
a
told.
chance to finish.
So yeah, so 400 East 50, so the 10, they said, and I said, well, we'll take the space. And they said, well, we can't guarantee we can deliver it to you. So we went to the OCM and said, how do we apply for this? And we went to the OCM and said, how do we apply for this? And they said, apply for it as you have an option on the space, which is exactly how we wrote our lease, that we're going to take the space in 2 phases. We're going to take space 1, which is the small store, as soon as we can get approval from the OCM to transfer the license. And the landlord, their preference is to keep the pharmacy. They made it very clear to us, and we said, we understand. We're happy to take the small space. We will commit to the small space day 1 with giving you the right to cancel on the pharmacy if you can't deliver it. But they said, if the pharmacy goes out, would we pay X dollars? And we said, absolutely. And they're probably using our lease as I've already told them, you're probably using my lease as a stalking horse to get the pharmacy to pay market rent. But if they don't want to, if they don't do it, I'm happy to take it. I know full-hearted going in, there's a probability that we're going to build out the small store, open up business, and learn later on whether or not we can expand. We are not kicking them out. They approached us.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. First of all, I used to live on East 55th Street, look literally around the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lived in that building, by the way, for a long time.
My first question is, it sounds like Health Source, which is sort of a fixture in the neighborhood.
Yes, it's been there a long time.
Did not want to meet the requirement, did not want to pay what the landlord asked for. And it's something you guys were, basically. Is that what happened? Just cutting through everything?
Look, we made a deal. Yeah, no, we made a deal for the small space. Hard stop. No, hard stop. Hard stop. Then the landlord came to us and said, would you take the larger space? It's going to be available. Then the landlord came to us and said, would you take the larger space if it's available? We said, yes, if it's available, we'll take it. And if it's not available, we won't take it. And I can tell you the landlord, in talking with the landlord, and there are multiple principals with the landlord, they've made it very clear to us that they want to do the pharmacy deal. It's been there for years before it was even called that pharmacy. And I said, I understand 100%. I'm happy to do that. I will go forward with the small lease as we initially planned, which is for the small store. And but I'm also willing to commit to the long-term lease.
So if we gave you approval for the small store, but not the big store, would you still go for it?
Yeah, I'm going to sign the small store, and but I would, if the OCM gives approval for both spaces and the landlord ends up offering me the second space, I'm gonna take it.
You can come back to us for this.
Yeah.
I think the view here is, and is that I know Michael Ann has her hand up. But I think the view here is that there's no issue with the smaller space. I think there should be more community input to the larger space. And Michael Ann, I'll stop. You go ahead, please.
Yeah, and I know Paige wants to speak too. Do you have another dispensary in another location close by or anywhere else in Manhattan?
No, this will be our first dispensary in Manhattan.
And are you aware that there's over like 140 dispensaries within a 5-mile radius already in the area? Are you aware that there's already a number of dispensaries close by?
On 2nd Avenue, up First Avenue, yes, I am aware.
Well, they passed the proximity.
Yeah.
I don't care about the proximity. I'm talking about the amount of dispensaries in our communities, and everyone knows I feel this way. So I'm not going to approve it. I just think we're inundated with dispensaries. So, that's my thought. I just wanted to add other. And I think Paige has something.
Go ahead, John.
No, I'm on a roll. Okay,
Okay.
I think what we're saying is that, first of all, there are legal and illegal dispensaries. The neighborhood is inundated with illegal dispensaries. Several of us on this board sitting here tonight have had a role in shutting down at least 2 illegal dispensaries.
Not about
we're
illegal
aware of that.
dispensaries.
But my point, I think what the point we're coming to here is that we're okay with the small space.
Yes.
But we would really want to have community input to that entire space, all the way to the corner of 55th Street being a cannabis dispensary.
And honestly, not just community, I'd really love to hear from people
I'd like-
at the pharmacy. I'm sorry, Paige, go ahead.
The thing is, if I'm not correct, on the southeast corner of 55th Street is the beginning of the Catholic Diocese of New York. And on that, on the first floor is a church.
No.
Page, it's been shut down. Last services were, I think, 2 weeks ago.
That's right. And they sold the building.
So-
It's gonna be a residential development.
So I have my other question is like, why, like I said, we've never had a redacted lease before. Why did you send it with the redactions?
The landlord asked us not to disclose financial terms because they're negotiating with the.
Okay, but not just financial, but timing, like that was one of the things that was.
Yeah.
Again, kind of a red flag.
Well, I can tell you that the vacant space, once approved, we have already engaged architects and we'll move forward opening that space as quickly as we can within the confines of all the approvals required by the building department and the Office of
Right.
Cannabis Management. And then the second space, I'll finish for you. The second space, the lease currently, as I understand it, expires out in 2026. And the landlord, as I said, would prefer to do a deal with the pharmacy. They're negotiating with them, but they've asked us if we would take it. We said absolutely. So the way they want to write the lease with us, that they don't want vacancy, and we said we would take it the day they moved out, if that's the case. But
Okay, I think, sir, I
so-
think we're talking about your current executed lease and the redactions. For how long is this lease?
this lease goes for 10 years.
And when does it start?
It starts as soon as we get approval from the Office of Cannabis Management.
No, there was a date, like it starts
The-
as of this date, and that was redacted.
Right, it actually started, the lease started, but it calls for the requirement for it to be effective. Is the
Okay,
date,
so-
the effective date is the date that the Office of Cannabis Management issues the license. If the Office of Cannabis Management does not issue the license, I'm not renting the space.
Let's time.
Yeah, you can pull it up.
There's a date for the execution of the lease. There's also a date when the lease term starts. What is the date of the lease term starting?
That runs 6 months from the time, because giving us free rent to build out the space from the effective date. The effective date is the date that the Office of Cannabis Management approves the deal. If the Office of Cannabis Management does not approve the deal, the lease will just come to an end and we'll leave and he'll have a vacant space. I don't want to pay rent on space that I can't operate a business out of. My
Personally.
business is the cannabis business. So that's
So-
why you have, so
so
there's
even-
6 months,
so
so I have
even-
6 months I have 6 months of between the effective date and the commencement date.
And so, excuse me, and 1000 First Avenue is the health source
Pharmacy.
pharmacy.
Yes.
Yeah. And are you planning, you're in the real estate business, I did a quick search
Yes.
here. I mean, are you planning to make that a cannabis dispensary, or are you planning to do something else there? That'll solve a lot.
Yeah, we're planning, we would plan to expand to the cannabis dispensary. But
Okay.
it's a future date, so we're gonna go forward with the small store. And if the space becomes available, we've agreed to the landlord to take it. avoiding
Okay.
us having to market it to a stranger.
But what I'm hearing here from my colleagues is that one of my colleagues is opposed to this in general, even the small store. It seems the consensus among some of the rest of us is to approve the small store, but we're not going to agree to the expanded store at this point, just to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's right.
My
Yeah.
recommendation would
Okay,
be
excuse me.
to go forward with the small store. If the larger space becomes available, you would like to expand, then we can, your application can be brought back to the community board for that expansion.
So I just
Right,
want to,
Robert?
let me ask you a question then. Are you saying that, because I don't know what the landlord's gonna do, right? But I just want to understand, are you saying if the pharmacy's gonna close their store, you want to actually see the pharmacy closed and out of business with a vacant store in the neighborhood before we commit to take that space?
That's mischaracterizing what we're saying. What we're saying is that we are not able at this time, as the consensus here seems to be, we're fully aboard with the smoke shop. There's nobody's arguing.
Okay.
But someone is.
I understand is objecting, I understand.
However, let me finish.
Legal.
Okay, but we are saying that we will have an issue with that whole space being a cannabis store. I would just be very straightforward with you about that.
Can I ask you, is that predicated on the thought that we're pushing out the pharmacy, or is that because no matter what, you wouldn't want a store that big?
Well, you see, the community hasn't had a chance to review this because the notification to the community only talked or seemed to be intended for the small smoke shop. There was no indication that the community was notified that you may be considering from the corner through the small smoke shop. And I think we would like to hear what the community thinks about the expanded space.
Well, even the small spot too. We haven't had any community engagement or outreach.
Yes, and in fact, you specifically said that the landlord, you don't have ownership of the space yet. So the landlord didn't want you to post something, so there is not the appropriate publication, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that, kind of despite the merits of the application, one thing I think we learned from the Flintstone situation last year was that it was incumbent on us to listen to the voice of the community. I'll say that there was a lot of shame and anger, not just directed at the application, but at us personally, because the feeling was they hadn't had the opportunity to voice their how they felt.
Mhm.
And for me, I don't know, I think my position on some of these cannabis stores has been pretty clear, but I also think that if somebody follows the process, I don't know if I can really punish them for following a process that exists. But the reality is I would not feel comfortable voting for something without the community input, especially that area. And maybe, really after that Flintstone things happened, we had like 30 people here. I just can't do that, not have that voice again.
And just kind of following up on that, I mean, one of the things that is different from some of the other applications that we have received is that it does not include a schematic of the shop space, which is something that kind of whatever, you design your space the way you want it, but the fact that you don't have it says to me, I'm not sure what space you're talking about.
Well, I'll tell you what it says is that I've been very prudent from the beginning. You may have read in the papers that there are a lot of people who committed with the OCM over a year and a half ago, paid rent on spaces that they thought, and then it went bankrupt. I'm not spending my money on space other than lawyers to do
You don't have to go into the business then.
Right, well, no, that's not, ma'am, that's not correct. I'll spend the money on my space when I control the space. When I control the space, I'll spend the money on it. But until I get a license for it, there's no reason to draw it. I had an architect.
Joshua, what is your background with cannabis business? Just tell us a little bit more about your background with and experience with this.
I have more of an academic background relative to the cannabis business. I've been a real estate professional for 35 years. I've been as I said, an adjunct professor at the NYU for over 20 years. I've been I'm on the board of advisors of George Washington University. I have an pretty distinguished business record. I'm the chief operating director of operations officer of a real estate company that's grown from 3,000 apartments to over 11,000 apartments in 8 states. So I'm very sensitive to tenant needs and what residents and people want. It's what we do for a living. It's my primary day job. I saw this as an opportunity that would make good sense in business. I have. But
you have no experience in a dispensary.
I have business in retail, not in a dispensary.
Yeah, Michael, and to be fair though, that's not necessarily a negative. Like one of the reasons we were with the Flintstone ones, like, was because of the negative. So this is kind of, I almost call it a clean slate, but we don't know how this would work out. Whereas, yeah, so I'd
also say I'm not a card license holder, so I'm not somebody who was a felon at some point in time. Right, I'm a professional with a pretty high degree of pedigree, and my intention is to run a first-class operation the way I envision it being, whether it's a tiny store or a little bit larger, is to be like a fine jewelry store. It's going to be clean, well lit. Windows will be blocked in accordance with the cannabis. Security guards will be there, proper cameras, and we plan to be good neighbors in the community.
But you've got to engage with the community and we've got to hear from them about how they feel about another dispensary going in for what reason.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, before I would even entertain this location, I spent many hours walking the streets, talking to people in the neighborhood. As I said, I used to live in the neighborhood. I lived in the neighborhood from 1991 until 2001, just after 9/11. So I know the neighborhood pretty well. I did speak to the residents of this building specifically, and I stood on First Avenue in front of the store and stopped people walking by and speaking to them.
So why do you think the pharmacy does not want to renew their lease?
I don't want to speak for somebody else and what the economics are. I don't know their economics.
Maybe you could make that into a business and fund them for their drugstore that's been there for a long time in the community and gives been a great business in the community.
Yeah, Rite Aid just filed bankruptcies, closing all their stores in New York, right? And also a lot of pharmacies are struggling due to the mail order pharmacy business. So I appreciate it. It's not my area that I have an interest in going into. I finance real estate transactions, not pharmacies.
Yeah.
It seems to me we have 3 options here. Okay, Michael Ann is taking a view that I would not put words into her mouth, but that we should not approve this application even for the small spot store.
Yep.
That's one option. The second option is, which I would favor, is that we would approve the small store, but make it very clear that we want input for the larger store before we would approve it. And we would specifically tell that to the OCN. Or the third option would be to approve the whole package at this point. And I'm just gonna leave that to the chair to.
Well, I agree with you on the second option.
Yeah.
What was the first option again?
First option is just to
Say no.
say no to the small store. I mean, they're the 3 options. Say no to the small store, say yes to the small store, but say we need a lot more input on the bigger store, or approve the whole thing.
Input.
We don't have any community input on the small store.
Yeah, that's
okay. Well,
input from who was my first question. The second question is, what are our timeline? Like, what's our deadlines?
I don't know what the deadline is.
I can tell you the OCM requires I believe a 30-day response, and you can extend for another 30 days.
Is there a notice somewhere for the community to have some engagement on even the small store?
There is not.
Okay, so why would we pass this with no community engagement?
I don't. Look,
He said in the application that the landlord did not control the space, and the landlord landlord
Right.
did not want, no. Am I correct? Am
That's
I
right. The
saying-
landlord asked me not to put, I asked the landlord to please put it in the window and they said they did not, they would not do that.
Not
Okay,
bad.
so we're in a catch-22 over here. Because the Office of Finance Management requires notification to the community. And generally it's done by putting a sticker or a placard in the window or on the lamppost closest to the store. I went by this morning and neither was there, not even on a public space.
I didn't know
So-
I didn't know it was legal to put a placard on a public space. I would have been happy to do that. I didn't think that was legal under the current New York laws.
The SLA allows it, Office of Finance Management, as far as I know, allows it. Because I've seen SLA applications on the
I
nearest
see it all the time.
telephone pole or
Lampposts,
whatever.
Yeah.
Be happy to do it.
Nearest the proposed licensing venue. So quite frankly, nobody in the community, unless they read our CB6 newsletter, which has limited circulation
I read
on
it.
email. Nobody in the community knows anything about this.
I mean,
Um,
at least-
uh,
at
You
least-
know,
at least-
notwithstanding
can we
what
just
your
bring it
landlord
back?
feels.
Let me bring it back later, at least to give the community some time to
Well,
consider.
This summer, why not do it at our next meeting?
All I'm gonna say, I don't know what I can do any different between now and then, other than put a placard on a pole. You know,
No, not on a poll, I think what, to our point is that we need some kind of notification. It doesn't have to be on a poll,
so what would you suggest?
on the
Yes.
door.
Jason, Jason is speaking.
Justin, what do you think it is?
Send out an
to say
email to the
something?
community associations.
Yeah.
Wait, Michael, I was gonna say one thing. I'd have to think about what he could do, but I just feel like after that situation last year, regardless of what our opinions are on this. I think the community broad, like, it's something like this, it's a serious issue, people have expressed that to us, and I think that. If community members show up, that's one thing, but I think that the community deserves a chance to express how they feel.
Yeah, I agree.
And so my opinion would be that whether we do it at a different meeting, a special meeting, a bulk or something like that. And we let the community know, and then we can make a more informed decision then. And that would be, and I actually kind of think the second store is like is an adjacent issue. I think we focus on that first store and then also lean to talk to people about that. But he can advocate for himself at the meeting. So I just think that we need to allow the community to have its opinion.
And I agree, and I feel like if we had another meeting to discuss this, it would really help build your case if there were people there from the pharmacy and from the landlord.
What's his name again?
My name's
Hello?
Joshua. Yep.
Yeah, do you mind if what I was gonna say is Joshua, that, we've had a lot of experience with this really over the last year or two, and, for us, I think, I don't wanna speak for everybody else, but, I think community input and knowing that hearing all the stakeholders and what they have to say, it allows us to make an informed decision based on what best serves the community. My opinion.
Okay, I think you could explain to the landlord, look, the Office of Cannabis Management requires that the community be informed. And there's only one way to do that, either put a sign in this prospective leased space or somewhere very close by so that the community does have a chance to come before this board and make their comments known. Now, if your landlord wants to lease the space, obviously he does or she does, and you want to lease it, you have a lease. The fact is that the rules are the rules from the Office of Cannabis Management. We can't change that. And the landlord can't say, well, I don't care, you can't put it in the window.
I don't, I have, as I told you, my license is already for a store on Borden Avenue, in Queens. I already have a license. And, when we went
We're
again,
not talking
I don't-
about whether you have a license or
No,
not.
I
sir.
know, I
We're
understand.
talking about whether the
The
community
location,
has been informed
I understand.
of that location.
I understand. And I've read the OCM regulations very carefully, and our obligation is to send a notice to you, which we complied with. And I'm happy to comply with it. I'm happy to meet you at the location. I cannot speak for the landlord. I'm happy to put a sign, right? If I can't get the landlord, I can't commit to somebody else, right? What I can commit for is I'll go to the landlord again and ask them if I could put a sign in the window. If they say no, I'll put it on a pole or whatever you think is appropriate. I'll meet one of you there. You can tell me where you want it. I can't commit for somebody else, right? But I will commit to help make it better known.
Okay.
What's the one?
Justin.
I think Paige is trying to say something.
Yeah, Paige wanted to speak.
Page?
The Basin license, yeah, Basin has their.
We meet 12 months a year. This is only June, and it's 30 days. It should be a meeting in July, which would cover this subject. We can ourselves get in touch with Sutton Place Community and with Turtle Bay and let them post it on their thing. Turtle Bay is very good at posting things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a
So-
lot of people are on summer break too, so, we might need more than 30 days for them to get engaged.
We have legal timelines we have to abide by. I saw a hand from a Mason.
Hello, do you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, I did hear from about this before. I wasn't sure if I was entirely correct, but I believe the obligation for the community is just noticing the community board.
Who is this?
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
but they would like to, I understand that, but they would like us to try and communicate broader than that. And I'm happy to, like I said, I'm happy to cooperate. I'm happy to cooperate with that.
Mr. Mason, who are you and who do you represent?
Oh, I don't represent anyone. I just live in the area.
Thank you.
Understanding what.
I would.
Can I make a motion to, I don't know what's the meeting next? Is there a meeting next month or is it Balcon?
No,
Yeah, well,
Well, if we need one, we'll have.
We need one more.
more than likely we'll have applications.
Yeah.
There'll be something okay. So I'm gonna make a motion to, suspend to,
Play this over.
yeah. Until we have, with, community input and requesting any stakeholders that are able to come and that he expresses, finds a way to have more, awareness within the community.
I'm glad, Justin, I'm glad to work with you on, if you want to on awareness, happy to do it. But yeah, I can't commit for the landlord. I can't commit for a third party.
Yeah,
Okay,
I understand.
but if you could actually, I think we have the landlord information, if you could, and I don't know, maybe if the board already has, but I would be a lot more comfortable going forward with this discussion if we have folks from the pharmacy also either attending that meeting or providing their input.
He might not have to report.
I'm not going to interfere with the landlord's relationship with the pharmacy. It's not,
I understand
so
that.
I have
but
never
if you
I've never
wanna-
spoken to them.
If you wanna build your case, I'm just telling you, that would help.
good suggestion.
Yep.
I guess, Emma, do you want to, sure.
I just think we should defer this until our next meeting.
For sure.
And that effort should be made to notify the community in a more public fashion so that we can get input at our next meeting and be able to make a more informed decision.
Do we need a motion? I think, should we have a motion to that effect? That we're not approving this at this time?
I think, yeah.
I don't, do we need a motion? I don't think so.
I just
I'm
wanted-
sorry,
Maybe no, no, we-
parliamentarian is not here.
Yeah, Jesus. I don't, do we need a motion to, or can we just, can we do a motion layover?
Table it.
Motion to defer.
Do
until next-
do I hear my name taken in vain?
You do.
Oh, he's here.
Oh,
Oh, my gosh.
I've been here
is
the whole
what-
time. I've been here.
We're
the-
looking for your guidance on what the best way to approach. I think you probably, because you are so wise, you understand what we're trying to do. And so I think our question is, what's the best way to do that?
No motion has to be made if no consensus has been reached. We do have 30 days to consider this with the option to request an additional 30 days, which we will do. We will request that additional 30 days, giving us 60 days. That will put us into like August 10th or 11th or something like that. So that would mean that you can consider this at your next meeting. We can reach out to Sutton Place and Turtle Bay, but we did put this on our website. We did indicate both the addresses for both of the sites, hyphenated. So
What was it
you know,
posted? Jose, Jesus, sorry.
as far as it being posted in the window or in the pane of glass, it wasn't, and we got an explanation as to why. I can only take them at their word. That's not an OCM requirement. That's something that we require. But if the community is not looking at our website, that, I don't know how we can help that, but we can certainly reach out to the neighborhood groups, which, given like 10 different committees and all the things we have to do, we don't typically do. We rely on them, as many of them are subscribed to our newsletter, to look at our newsletter and to come if they are in fact concerned about something. But we can reach out to them and say, hey, have you seen this?
Jesus, when was this posted?
This was posted, these things get posted pretty much after we get them.
Yeah, so it was.
There's a
just-
live feed now on the website, so that as soon as, Brian, pretty much the day of or the day after you get these, they become visible to the public, right?
Well, we didn't get notice of the agenda until a few days ago, I believe.
Folks, I've mentioned this a few times. The agenda is now live. We don't want to spam you with emails every single time something comes in. You need to look at these regularly.
okay.
But
And
if the committee, but that just, kind of reinforces, if the committee isn't even looking at it, like, how can we assume that the community is?
It's now live, so I mean, it's a new thing, but yeah, to your point.
It's been that way for a few months now.
Yeah.
Okay,
good
but,
point.
So what I would suggest, if you want to discuss this again, just don't make any motions. You don't need to, no one's going to move any kind of resolution. You're just agreeing as a committee, unless someone has any major objection, to not take any action at this time, and you can take your action at the meeting that happens at the end of July. In that time, I would say, get your thoughts together, potentially start throwing some clauses together for a resolution. Maybe some folks in the committee can visit the pharmacy and see if you can speak to the owners and see if anybody will invite them or talk to them. Maybe they don't want to come to the meeting if they don't want to, but talk to them and see what they say.
Sense.
But no one has to consider anything right now.
All right, so we don't need a resolution, we just need a consensus of the committee to defer this until our next meeting. And in between now and our next meeting, there will be more publicity to the community, whether it comes from our side or from the applicant's side, so that we could hear, hopefully, at our next committee meeting, any comments from the community in general, so that we can make a more informed decision. Do I hear the consensus of the committee to do that?
That sounds right to me.
All right.
Can I
So-
just ask, I just want to make two statements. One is, I was transparent at all points that there was 2 locations. In the application, and I complied, and I did put that in. I didn't want to try to say I'm only going to do one thing and then, later on come back and say we're coming to the community for a larger space. We would like to go forward either way, small or larger. And that's number one. I just want you to be aware of that. The second comment, so it was nothing underhand that I wasn't trying to not disclose anything about the second location. And secondly, I'm happy to meet with any one of you and see how we could help communicate that what we're doing, other than where I control the opportunity to do it, I'll do it. If I can't control it, I don't control it.
And what is the date of our next meeting?
July 31st.
July what?
July
Not the
31st.
24th?
July 31st?
Wouldn't it be the 24th?
That gonna
Yeah,
push you
just
past the 60-day window? No.
It's the last Thursday.
No, the 60-day window
August
ends on August.
No, the
10th.
60-day window takes us until like August 10th or something.
Right, okay.
So
Okay, so we're in
7:31.
the 60-day window. Okay,
I might be on the road, but we'll still check in.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for your candor, Mr. Gleiber. I appreciate your situation. And we will do our part, and we hope that you will do your part so that our next meeting will be more informative of the community, and we'll go forward from there.
And I also want to thank you for your transparency when we had the discussion. And just also compliment you on your head trauma work. My son is involved in neuroscience, and that's
Thank you.
great stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have a soft spot in my heart for NYU since I got my graduate degree there. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
if there's any, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions.
Right.
But you
Sure
have
will.
the- you have the date.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Anton, if I can say one quick thing, more to the entire committee. I know a lot of you are very active in various neighborhood associations. Any influence you have with them, please encourage them to publicize our newsletter, publicize how to sign up for the newsletter, because all this stuff does go into the newsletter. And folks need to sign up for that. They don't need to come to every meeting if they don't want to, but that is the way that we get all of that out and on our website. So, oftentimes, while it may be, well, the community doesn't know, we are under tight schedules with a lot of these things, and these agencies will not accept, well, they didn't see it. So please use any influence you have with these organizations to tell them, get your members to sign up to the CV6 newsletter, because that is where you will find updates on all of these meetings, or bookmark the CV6 website and consult it regularly. Because even in the newsletter, these things will only really come out like a week or so before, even though they're all live on the website weeks in advance, because we can't list an entire month's worth of meetings in the newsletter all the time.
Of course.
So that's what I would say. If the 34th Street Busway taught us anything, is that, and we got dozens of new people signed up to the newsletter after that, is that sign up to your local community board's newsletter if they have one, which we do, because unfortunately a lot of agencies will not accept, oh, we did not know.
Carol Renfler. Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's try to finish off. Item 13, corporate change for wine, beer, and cider license for 56 Third Food Corporation doing business as Cassiano's Pizza at 930 Third Avenue. I don't have any questions. Any comments from members of the community? Okay. Members of the committee,
No.
is there a representative for Cassiano's here?
Yes,
A quick question. Are you related to Fresh Basil?
yes, they're also part of our company, yes.
Oh, okay, but we're only talking about the pizza shop,
Yes,
okay. Um. And what are you doing? You're changing corporations?
no, we just changing, no, it's a stockholder. It went from my wife to an irrevocable trust, to a trust.
Oh,
okay.
hopefully for your kids.
Yeah.
Sorry, not getting personal there.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice. It's true.
Michael, did you have a question?
Nope.
No objection.
Okay, no,
Second,
No objection.
okay. Motion of no objection to this application was moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Okay. Hearing no objection, the resolution is adopted by unanimous consent and will be considered at the next full board meeting. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Good luck with your trust,
Thank you.
and your pizza's pretty good too.
Thank you, thanks very much.
Very much.
Okay, item 14. Alteration on premises liquor license for Xella LLC doing business at Eleni's at 226 Third Avenue. I think at our last committee meeting, we approved the roadway license.
yeah.
Okay, so is there a representative for
Yes.
Eleni's here?
Yes,
This is just for the alteration for the roadway license?
right. This is the alteration application, the specific form for the roadway and sidewalk cafes now. They call it the municipal application.
Yeah, it works for me. Can I make a motion to approve?
Second.
Or whatever it is we're supposed to do for this. Motion of approval? Or no objection?
No objection to the alteration for the on-premises liquor license for Xella LLC.
Right there, that's my
So-
motion.
Your motion, who was seconding it?
I'll second.
Anton, since 14, 15, and 16, and 17, I believe, are sort of very similar situations. They're the alterations for dining out that you've already heard before. You might just want to consider those as a bundle.
I don't want to, and I'm sorry, Jesus, because I'm difficult. But I did have a question on, I had a question on both of them, but they're like small questions. So can we not?
That's up to you.
All right, I wasn't hearing so well what Jesus said.
Jesus recommended that we
Bundle.
14, 15, and 16, and I pushed back because I have a little something.
questioned, right.
Okay,
Well, you would
Thank
still have to hear them. You would still have to hear them, but then you do the reso after hearing all four. But
oh, okay, I'm good with that.
because we've only heard from the one.
Okay,
Yeah. Good idea.
No, I have a question about the Boralia.
Villa
Um,
Baruch.
I also have a question about Sector 49, which I think is more.
I had questions on both of them.
Yeah, I would like to take
Probably
these
the
separately.
same.
Thank you, Jesus. But do I hear a
But
motion?
14 I'm good with,
Okay,
yeah.
notion, no objection for approval of the alteration for on-premises liquor license for Xella LLC.
So moved.
I'm just trying to get back to the agenda.
Okay,
Second.
okay, are there any objections? Hearing no objection, the resolution is adopted by unanimous consent and will be considered by the next full board meeting. Okay, item number 15. Villa. Alteration. For on-premises liquor license for Villa Baruli Incorporated doing business as Villa Barulia Restaurant at 107 East 34th Street. I'm a little confused. Did they come before us for,
Yes.
okay,
For sidewalk.
For
okay,
sidewalk.
sidewalk? All right.
Yes, this is a sidewalk cafe and they were before you, I believe, in March of this year.
Mhm. March, right?
Okay. So this is just an alteration for
For the sidewalk, right? And
Cafe
we
Lunch.
we were actually notified by the liquor authority that they're waiting to get the complete permit with the sidewalk cafes. At first, they said they would accept the conditional approvals for the alteration. So,
Mhm.
but, so this will, it won't go through until they actually get the permit.
But you do have the sidewalk set up. I passed by it this
Right, well,
afternoon.
we're allowed to operate. We have the city has notified all those who filed sidewalk cafes on applications on a timely basis, which was now a long time ago, almost a year ago, that they're allowed to operate while things are pending.
Seems reasonable.
Okay, do I hear a motion of no
Wait, can
objection?
I ask just a little question? I noticed that there was not, in some ways it matters more that, there was not, we typically have a question about outreach to the upstairs neighbors. And that was not in this questionnaire. And again, just a like shout out to adding numbers to our questionnaire, so I could say what question that was. Just saying, but it wasn't on this one. And in
Which-
some ways it matters more for, in outside space even than it does for an indoor space. Did I miss something?
What was the question, Ann?
What was the
So-
question? I don't understand.
The question is, it's kind of an internal question, but usually our questionnaire has a question. If you say you have upstairs neighbors, we usually ask, have you reached out to them to let them know that you're gonna do this? And I did not see that in this questionnaire.
Oh, okay, well, that wasn't asked, right, so
Yeah.
we couldn't answer
Again,
it.
it's sort of an internal, like, I'm flagging internal business here.
Well, just as a side issue, this is they have a really good relationship with the people in the community, so everyone it's
Yeah,
quite
I'm not super worried about it. It's just something that I noticed and
right.
it's-
Well, we would have answered it if it was there.
I'm sure you would have. And
Right.
have you reached out to your upstairs neighbors?
Well, like I said, yeah, as far as I know, they have, because they have a very good relationship with them.
So I think the issue is that, this form was printed out and then looks like it was typed in.
Yeah, it
As
looked to me
opposed
like it
to
was typed
just
out.
filled in.
Yeah,
Because if you select yes.
then there would be another drop down.
Resident.
Oh, I see. All right, that we had some trouble with
Yeah.
that on our computer, so that's why we
I-
printed it out and
I
typed it out.
figured it was something like that. I know that you guys are good operators. I'm not worried about it. But I would love to have our questions numbered. I'll just keep saying that at every meeting.
You're not the first one.
I know.
Okay,
We'll do that. I'll do that now. Sorry,
Yeah.
Ann. We have
No
like
worries,
100 things on
no
the to-do
worries.
list, so
Motion
I'll
of
do
no
that now.
objection. That's our.
second? Ed?
Second.
Okay. A motion recommending no objection for this application was moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Okay, hearing no objection, the resolution is adopted by unanimous consent and will be considered at the next full board meeting. Okay, thank you very much. Good luck, sir.
Thank you on both of them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Thank
Item
you.
16. Getting down to the home stretch here. Alteration for on-premises liquor license for F&R NYC Corp. doing business as Chateau 49 at 924 Second Avenue.
Yes.
All right. Did we approve the sidewalk?
We did. I double checked
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And so I'm good for it, even though they did not fill out the questionnaire.
Oh, we got the notification. Hi, everyone. We got a notification literally yesterday for today. And the questionnaire was, we started filling it up and then it showed as it was a new license. That's why we got confused and we didn't want to mess things up. So I asked Stacy Weiss, the attorney, and she said just answer all the questions if they have. But if you want us to fill up the application, we
No,
will do
it's
so.
fine.
It's not a problem at all.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, I don't have an issue with that. What I do have an
Appreciate
issue
that.
is you have a roadway shed on 49th Street that is not in compliance at all with the DOT regulation.
We got the final approvals 3-4 weeks ago from the DOT. The DOT inspector had no issues with it. We were planning to remove it by the end of the season anyways. And just going forward, use the awnings. So by November, it will be out anyways.
I'm a little confused because I passed by it a couple of hours ago. And it looks pretty permanent. It looks like it did not comply with the impermanency required by the DOT for roadway cafes. In other words, you had barriers that looked pretty solid. It was enclosed. Now you're telling me the DOT went by and they said it was okay?
We have the DOT, I'm actually looking at it, the DOT final outdoor plan and approval.
That was the plan. The actual structure is what I'm talking about.
That is not in compliance.
They did not say anything. They didn't have any objections. Like I said, we were planning to remove it by the end of the season anyways. If that is something that you all want us to do, we will go ahead and do it earlier. It's not a problem at all.
Okay, was this structure in place?
It was during COVID time. That's actually what kept us alive.
Structure this structure should have been removed,
Last
as I recall,
November.
last November.
Yeah.
There was no objections whatsoever from the DOT.
No, the question I'm posing is that structure was here for COVID.
Yep.
And under the regulations, that structure should have been removed by last November 1st. Then you reapply again for the next season, and it should be under the new regulations that the DOT has promulgated.
So that's been there for like the last 5 years?
Yes. What they asked us to remove was the little outdoor roadway area, which with the building being built on the 50th Street.
Yeah.
And all the
One
noise,
on Second Avenue.
it was not safe for us to do anyway, so we went ahead and did it way before the notice.
But
for
they
the-
were fine with the 49th Street
There was
side.
no objections. We sent everything over to them. We paid the deposit and the full amount as per the requirements and as per the final approvals. We want to be good neighbors and we're here, July will be 7 years. So if that is something that bothers the community, we'll be more than happy to remove it.
Well, I don't think
Yeah,
it's a question of bothering the community, and the question is whether it's within the legal mandates of the
In any
DOT.
case, it's not a problem. We will, like I said, we were going to remove it anyways by the end of the season, but we can go ahead and do it earlier. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
there's
other-
actually an elevation here.
The other question I had was on the SLA application. I forgot which item it says, but you said you didn't have any sidewalk dining. And you obviously do, because you have tables and chairs on both sides on Second Avenue and on 49th Street.
And didn't we approve one of those?
No, we got fully on approved last year on, I think, end of August. We were here and we got full approval from the community board, which we
Could
thank
you
you
go to
for.
the Brian, could you go to
Uh,
the SMA application?
We just renewed the liquor license. We got another 2 years. There shouldn't be a problem. If anything, we can have the attorney fix it, but everything was done as per the applications.
So when we received the application from DOT, it was for both 49th Street and Second.
Yes, yes, yes.
So now, hold on.
Let's go to the,
Because Second
Yes.
Avenue is untenable, the
It-
way
it-
that
it's-
lot is now.
Second Avenue has only 5 tables. Small.
let's go down to the bottom of the form, I think. there's-
Alteration.
So we're 5 feet on Second Avenue and 8 feet on,
There.
7 feet on the.
Okay, what does it say about sidewalk? Last up,
Well, for licensed outdoor area, the checkbox selected was not.
and it says no.
So,
Your SLA application says you don't have a license for sidewalk dining.
We've had a license since when he was with for
Correct.
6 years now, since when he was with Consumer Affairs. We went
Well,
through with the architect and all that. We were all set with that.
Well, then you should pay attention to your application because it says no sidewalk.
so, yeah, so this 30-day notice that we received, alteration was checked, but there was no outdoor area selected.
Yeah,
I
And-
will have my attorney fix that, but that was done since even, like I said, before DOT, we had the permit
And
for
that's-
pretty much the same chairs and tables.
Is that for Second Avenue or 49th
For
Street?
both. We've had a permit with Department of Consumer Affairs when it was under that time for 12 tables on the 49th Street side and for 5 tables, I think, on the Second Avenue side.
I don't know how they can have the tables with what's going on in Second Avenue.
but they do.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good. The tables are always placed in the same spot. We run a pretty tight shop. I'm here all the times. I'm a working partner, so
Brian, could you go to Google Maps?
thankfully we don't have any problems.
Okay. Get a better view of Second Oaks.
All right, so
Yeah,
this is the best I can do.
nope, that's good.
Yeah, okay.
Second Avenue.
I think the scaffolding is from the roof, as I recall.
That scaffolding makes it look a little smaller, but it's 15.5 feet, if I believe. So
But there's
that's
a
pretty-
street closure, like the sidewalk is closed.
no,
There, the construction on 50th Street.
no, the construction on 50th has extended on the roadway, so they do their own thing
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
other
yeah,
side.
but I mean, literally, when I walked there the other day, like, you can see that, like, you have to, I mean, I'm not sure it actually affects you. But you can
No.
see where pedestrians are going between, the,
Scaffolding.
well, no, closer
They
to all.
they affect the bike lane, the construction, but thankfully, God willing, it will be done soon. I mean, they're saying that it's a matter of another 3 months. So
Yeah, from your lips to God's ears.
yeah, which we can't wait too because we suffered from that a
I'm
lot.
sure.
Could you
We
zoom
were
in on?
we were hidden from the north side.
So yeah, the restaurant is closer to.
Yeah.
That's difficult, okay.
The
All right, I've had my say.
Yeah,
Motion to.
Motion, no objection.
No objection, okay. Motion of no objection.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, any objections? Motion of no objection for an alteration to the SLA license for Chateau 49? Hearing no objections, resolution is adopted as by unanimous consent, and will be considered by the full board at its next meeting. Okay, sir, thank you very much. And yes, your food is very good. I enjoy it.
I appreciate that. We tried.
Indeed. Great
Thank you so
brunch.
much. Thank you, everybody. As always, we appreciate it.
We won't reach many times at once. Bye. Bless you.
So,
Thank you.
if it's
Okay,
I was
item
gonna
number
say-
I'm
17.
sorry, wait.
Oh, so we're going to 17 now, sorry. I thought we were finished with all four.
Are you ready?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, my apologies.
Okay, alteration for on-premises liquor license for 415 Third Avenue Restaurant Group LLC doing business as Fumo Kips Bay at 415 Third Avenue. So there's an alteration. We already approved the outdoor seating. Is there a representative here?
Yes, Robert Hull, Mike Kelly's office.
Okay, do I hear any comments from any members of the community? Any comments from any member of the committee?
Yeah, I have a question, but it's like sort of an internal question, just a learning question. Cause I noticed when I looked, it was like, Fuma, we did them already. And I noticed when I looked at the Rezo tracker, that it showed the date of the Rezo was June 13th, which is neither a full board date or a meeting date. So is that like the day that it just kind of got processed and sent to them? I just wondered about that, like, again, process, nothing that's gonna hold up.
June 13 is what I have on the date the notice was sent in.
Oh,
And I'm not sure I understand your question.
so when I looked at the Rezo tracker, I usually think about Rezos having dates of the full board, like that was the date that the Rezo was passed. And for a bunch of these, it showed them as June 13th, that it was like,
So
June 12th, 2024.
no, there was June 13th, 2025. Like, I know I looked at this, I know I am not crazy.
So I'm looking at, this is the Rezo database here.
Okay, well, I looked because I Googled, it was like, I know we did Fumo. So I Googled it, I found something from 2024, as you did. And actually, there's one right below that, that's like something else. But there was something that
Yeah,
was
that's also cool.
June, well, it was something like the UN. But there was something that was June, it was June 13th, and cause I looked at my calendar, it was like June 13th, that was not, it was a Friday the 13th. I knew exactly what I was doing that day.
Well, if it's on the tracker, each one of these records, if you open the record, the URL at the top, well, leads right back to that. So if you send that to us, we can inspect it. We're not infallible, so maybe there was an error, but I'm still not sure what you could have been looking at.
All right, I'll like
Yeah,
do a
let's
screenshot,
take
it's
this
not
offline.
something that like, it's not, but it was just like, it was something I thought I might learn something from.
But the dates that you see, as you can see, Brian has it pulled up. The date under date past is the date of the full board, so that there was a full board on June 12th. When you actually look in the PDF, the date at the very top
Right, the
is the
letter.
date that we actually send it to the agency or post it on. There
Oh,
and
so
there's
that's probably what it was.
yeah, and then there's the date mentioned of the full board again in the actual PDF, adjusted
Yeah.
so that in case it gets separated from the
Okay.
tracker, but.
That's probably what it was. Thanks, Jesus.
Yeah, I think what you're looking at, we sent in our DOT comment form on June 13th, 2025.
So that's probably what it was.
Our deadline was June 14th.
Yeah.
And the full board was June 11th.
Okay, let's not keep Mr. Hull here. Let's Do I hear a resolution of no objection to this alteration?
No objections.
Second.
Second, okay. Um, The motion of recommending approval of this application is moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted by unanimous consent, and will be considered by the full board at its next meeting. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. You guys have a great night.
I hope to
You
get to your
too.
restaurant soon.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, last two items. Number 18. New application and temporary retail permit for an on-premises liquor license for Civil Restaurants LLC doing business as Pietro's Restaurant at 890 Second Avenue. Okay, is there a representative here?
Mr. Brockman, you can just unmute.
I got you. Okay, all good.
Good.
Okay, this is in the old Angelitos
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
Yes, it is.
location.
Angelettos, yeah. I thought it was gonna be French place.
No, I found the place by accident about in December. And I think this is me. This is us. And I've been looking for like 3 years because we had to move from the Pfizer building because they were renovating. So we lost the lease. And we've been there for 43 years, I think. And it was a shame to go, but time to move on. And this place, we found this, and I said, this is us. So, lucky.
Good. All right, are there any comments from members of the community?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear-
Hello?
Okay, comments from members of the committee. Paige?
Yeah, begin with, not only were they there, if I'm not correct, they were on 45th Street before they were.
Oh, you know your history, yes? 1932.
Well, no, you moved.
I look good for 93 years old.
70s and 70s to your current location. Because I went to I used to live on 49th Street and I went to your location and then I moved to the city and I've been going to your location and I'm going to miss you on 43rd Street.
It's just a couple of blocks more. That's
Yeah, well, it's far enough.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any further comments from members of the committee? Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big Angeletto fan with my parents. We used to go there all the time, so I'm bummed, but that they're closed, but I'm glad to have you back. I noticed a kind of couple of really minor things on the application. The cross streets show between West 47 and West 48. Which obviously it is not.
That's Max Bookman. Yep.
Yeah, whatever, And then the other thing is that when we ask in the questionnaire for the manager on duty information, there was not an email address. There's a phone number, which is probably more important in terms of an immediate concern, but it's good to have the email address so that, if we can let you know, I don't anticipate, major issues, but if we want to be able to get in touch with you, it's good to have.
Okay.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion with no objection for this application.
So moved.
Second. I think we had a second.
Okay. All right. Motion of no objection for this application was moved and seconded. Is there any objection to this motion? Hearing none, resolution is adopted by unanimous consent and will be considered by the full board at its next meeting. Thank you, sir.
So
when are you
Thank
going
you,
to
sir.
open?
Yeah, thank you. Mike.
We're hoping to open in late August, September. So
All right.
We look forward to that and good luck to you.
See you then.
we want to get our ducks in a row before we start opening doors.
Well, if you need some folks for a soft opening, let me know.
You got it. Okay. Just
Thank
stop
you.
on. Stop in. We're here every day.
If I may just interject, I just want to confirm the hours of operation, Monday through Sunday, 11:30 a.m. to 12 a.m.
No, we shut down at 10, the latest, at night. No, we've never worked past 10 o'clock
Well,
ever.
this is from the questionnaire that was submitted, so. I mean,
Then that's wrong too. No, we don't do 12 o'clock. My customers are in bed at 9 o'clock.
Yep, that sounds like my.
I can't give it away at 9 o'clock. Trust me.
Really good at it.
Yeah, I'm a night.
Okay, so.
No, it's 9:30.
Time.
That's it.
Thanks for
Okay.
catching that.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Last item, late
Thank you,
over.
folks.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Your cider license for Chipotle Mexican Grill. Why was it laid over?
They requested to come to the next meeting.
Okay, I don't have any issues with that.
My kids will just want you to keep it open, that's all.
All right, I really don't have a chair's report. I think we have to submit our budget request before next September,
Oh, yeah.
but I expect that we'll be meeting in July and August. Hopefully we'll have more time. It's already 9 o'clock,
You mean like
which
next
is,
September?
which is an hour less than
Wait, I
last.
was gonna say. that seems
Sorry, I think
early.
I missed my turn. My phone was disconnected. Yeah, I emailed you too. Sorry about that.
For
It's
what-
from
what-
it's Saperavi, it's Mills Point Corp.
Number 3, we.
Yeah, my phone was disconnected and I could not speak.
No worries.
We already approved it.
You're
Oh,
all
thank you
set.
so much. Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
good luck.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Sorry for the technology glitches.
Yeah, I emailed you too. Sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
so let's think about it. Hopefully, the July meeting or the August meeting will be even shorter, and we can spend some time. Any old or new business we discussed?
Yeah, imagine.
Okay. That's it, sheriff's report. Okay, motion to adjourn.
I'll give you the pleasure.
Motion to adjourn. Doesn't have to be.
No
Oh, it doesn't
objection.
have to second.
Okay, seeing no further business, the meeting is
Wait,
adjourned.
wait, we got someone speaking here. Michael Ann, is
I
that
said
you?
thank you and good night.
Good night, Michael.
Good night.
Seeing no further business, the meeting is
Night, Cowboy.
adjourned at 8:57
Yeah,
PM.
that is not bad.
Let's try to talk fast. Thank